Hello everyone, welcome to the subscription video of this month. We're back down here in the roastery because we're still constructing our lab upstairs. So it was a little noisy with carpenters and you might hear that throughout the video. Also, Ben is behind me measuring green coffee, so it might be a little noisy, but we figured we would, film from our beautiful roastery so you could check out our coffees of the month. Welcome everyone to this month's Tasting with Friends. Today I have with me Krissa Ludvigsen.
Yes.
Very Norwegian name.
Very Norwegian. I look very Norwegian.
Yes. You've been working for us since...
just over a year.
Yeah.
A year and a bit.
But you've been away for a while.
Yes. Making babies.
Making babies.
Having babies.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
You are our digital and marketing manager.
I am.
So if our web shop isn't working, she's the one to blame.
I need to fix it.
Yeah.
Fast.
So this month we're sending out a couple of great coffees from some very good friends of ours, Marisabel and Moises from Honduras. Mm-hmm. And we have chosen 3 coffees from the same farm, but they're different varieties.
Yep.
You know what the variety is?
I think we are doing the Geisha.
Yeah.
Catuaí.
Yeah.
Pacamara.
Catuaí.
Catuaí.
Yes.
With an accent.
And for those of you who don't know what a different variety is, that means you have probably heard about Arabica and Robusta plants in the coffee world. Well, they are 2 different species, so think about them as being a pear and an apple, or a banana and an apple, different species of fruit.
Fruits, yeah.
Whereas within the Arabica species, you have many different cultivars, so cultivated varieties. We just call them varieties. And that means just different shrubs or trees. They're actually shrubs, not trees. They're about 2 meters tall at the highest because we prune them, but normally on a farm they're 1.5 meters tall maximum, and then they will stump the tree.
So compared to my height?
Yeah, about the same, a little bit higher, maybe like this when you decide to stump the tree, and then the new tree will come up from the trunk. So Marisabel and Moises, they have about 50 different varieties on their farms, but most of them are not in production. So some of them are just, for testing. We have been cupping or tasting a lot of them during the last years, and been selecting a couple that really taste good. And of course the Pacamara is one of them. Geisha is an obvious one.
Yeah.
The Catuaí is a more traditional one, and it's developed in Brazil, and it has a lot of these kind of Brazil flavors, chocolate, nuts. So maybe we should start tasting that.
Let's do that.
Let's see, that was this one. And as always, the coffees taste much better when they're a little cooler, so I'm just going to pour a little bit. So this is the coffee that everyone will get, the 1-bag subscribers, 2-bag subscribers and 3-bag subscribers.
What did they say in Honduras?
Salud.
Salud.
Yes, let's do it. What do you think?
Always delicious. Nice and light, not too heavy.
I think this for me is kind of a coffee that I can drink a lot of. So when I say coffee, this would be like Corey, for instance, our fill-in for you when you were away. She loved these chocolatey coffees that were just super sweet and chocolatey, and this is one of those. Almost has like a caramel sweetness.
Yeah.
And milk chocolate for me. A little bit of roasted nuts, like almonds or hazelnuts.
Yeah.
In a good way. Nuts can sometimes be very negative in coffee, but here I think it's really nice in the coffee. Yeah, really sweet.
Yeah.
We're also sending this out as espresso, and then it's even sweeter and more intense. So that's a really good espresso if you like to make cappuccinos in the morning. It goes really well with milk, but I also really like tasting it alone.
Clean, yeah.
So this is the traditional cultivar that they're growing a lot of. In Honduras it's not so common anymore because of leaf rust, so they're changing a lot of these cultivars like Catuaí to hybrids like Catimors, and they tend to taste a little bit more weedy and herbal, and this is quite rare to find now in Honduras. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good. Like I said, it's always interesting for me drinking our coffees because it's so unlike what you would get in other coffee shops. Like this is almost like a really rich tea in a sense.
Yeah,
about the effects of coffee.
Interesting. Maybe like one of those roasted teas that you get in Japan.
Yeah, like just like a more like flavorsome tea.
Let's
but
put
with like a coffee undertone.
Let's put a little bit more in, and then so that we can compare it to the next coffee, because it's always easier to taste differences if you compare it to something. So this would be like what I call brown coffees, very kind of base coffee, and then you have all these kind of fruity coffees that are circling around. So let's taste the next one, which is the Geisha variety, and this is one of the famous varieties. The seeds are actually from Esmeralda in Honduras. No, in Esmeralda in Panama, the world famous farm that has their own auction and so on.
Yeah.
Although the plants are the same, you know, the climate and the soil and everything is very different. So this coffee is very different from the Panamanian geishas. It tends to have a little bit more body, which a lot of people think are lacking in some of the Panamanian geishas. But it's also not as pronounced, it's not as citric, it's not as intense, but it's really more delicate, still with a good body and sweetness. So maybe a little bit more herbal as well.
Let's try it.
Let's do it.
So definitely fruitier compared to this one.
Very citric.
Yeah, you definitely taste this to be more fruity and like citric and light compared to this. This now seems heavier and chocolatey and nutty when you compare the two.
Especially when you go back to the Catuaí, it's really like full-bodied and heavy. And so sweet.
This is where we get like a big coffee rush.
So a lot of people who don't like coffee like these kind of geisha coffees when we serve it to them, because that just tastes like tea.
Yeah.
It's actually the tea that tastes like this coffee, because what people are normally referring to is like Earl Grey tea. Yeah. Which is a flavored tea.
Bergamot.
Yeah, bergamot, those kind of flavors. But that's a flavored tea. This is not a flavored coffee, so it's a tea that tastes like coffee. And then the last one, being a Pacamara, more commonly grown in El Salvador, where it was developed. It's a hybrid between Pacas and Maragogipe. So Pacas being a Bourbon mutation, so a short dwarf mutation of Bourbon, and the Maragogipe I think is a Typica mutation, which has large beans, large leaves, large trees, and is quite popular to grow. But the Pacamara is yielding a little bit more, I think. So let's taste it.
I don't think I've had this one before.
No, it's not so often that you see it around anymore. I don't know why, but there are a lot of farmers in El Salvador, some in Nicaragua, some in Honduras who are growing it. And they can be quite difficult to roast because the beans are quite large. And also, if it's not a good Pacamara, it can taste a lot like onions.
Oh, nice.
Not a good flavor in coffee.
Oh.
But this has a lot of fruit and intensity. Let's taste it.
Hopefully. It's interesting.
Very intense, huh? Compared to the geisha.
Yeah, very different.
Orange peel, dark chocolate.
Yeah. It's kind of like in between for me, the two.
Okay, cool. Very cool. For me, the Pacamara is very, very intense.
Yeah.
Like if you drink a cup of this, then you're satisfied. But I can drink, 2-3 cups of the other ones.
Yeah, you mentioned before it's kind of like is this the one that's kind of like a chocolatey orange?
Yeah, before we started filming, I told you, Pacamara, this at least for me is like those kind of dark chocolates that are flavored with orange.
Like Jaffa cakes.
Jaffa cakes, yes.
So
I actually used that kind of chocolate on my signature beverage in the WBC in 2004 when I won that competition, because it's a flavor I really like, and it's a flavor that a lot of people find in coffees, especially from Central America, and a lot of times in these Pacamaras as well. But for me, that's a really nice combination.
Well, I downed this one compared to the other two, so that's probably a good sign.
You like the geisha the most, or no? The
this
last
was the
one?
Pacamara.
Yeah, great.
But I mean, the geisha was fruity, and the Catuaí was more chocolatey. And if this is like chocolatey orange, it's kind of
somewhere
a bit of both.
Yeah, it's like a mix of both. So those are the 3 coffees we're sending out. So the Catuaí is going out to all the ones who are subscribing to one bag. Then everyone who has 2 bags or more will get the Geisha, and then for those of you who are subscribing to 3 bags per month are getting the Pacamara. And the reason why that's more exclusive is just because we have very little of it.
Yeah.
But we have enough for sending it out to our subscribers, and I really hope you like it, because I think it's a fantastic version of a Pacamara, a little different from the more heavy ones from El Salvador.
Yeah.
And it's a variety that's definitely kind of underestimated a little bit, I think.
Cool. Exciting.
Exciting. For brewing advice, you know, as always, use very soft water. Like we are roasting and testing with Oslo water, and Oslo water is very, very soft. It's
very,
like
very good.
50 parts per million minerals. The pH is more or less around 7. Very little calcium, very low bicarbonate. So you tend to get this very sweet and soft, more acidic flavors from that. Whereas if you have more calcium in the water, the coffee will taste very heavy and bitter.
Yeah.
Almost like it's over extracted. And then we normally brew this, you know, on AeroPress or V60. You can check out our brewing guides online.
Yeah.
Those are the general brewing recipes we recommend for all of these. You might want to try the Pacamara with slightly lower dose so that it opens up a little bit, because it's quite intense. So if you're having a high dose on that, then you know, it gets a lot. So it's a little bit easier to taste it if you have a slightly lower dose on it. The other ones, you know, go ahead and experiment. Also with espresso, we recommend that you extract them quite slowly. So try to use a little bit less coffee, grind finer, and aim for like 30-second extraction. It's really difficult to over-extract these coffees because they're quite light in roast. So I just tested them this morning, and I found them to taste really, really good at very, very high extraction. So you might want to try to have a little bit more water going through the cake and grind finer and aim at longer extraction times.
That's the same instructions on our website?
Yeah, a little bit. So on our website we normally have 20 grams in, 40 grams out, or something like that. You can easily do 42, 43 to 45 grams out. That means how many grams you get in the cup, and aim for around 30 to 35 second extraction time. That's my pro tip today.
Cool.
Anything else?
Nope. Like you said, everything's on the website in the footer or under the Learn category at the top, so it's super easy to find.
Yeah. And if you're not subscribing to the coffees but would like to, then what do?
You go to our website, you go to Coffee and Subscription, you click the banner and subscribe. And you can be a recurring subscriber.
Yeah.
So it's ongoing, no binding, no hassle-free payments. Or you can also gift a subscription to your friends or a family member or colleague. Yeah. Which you can get in like 3 months, 6 months, or 9 month options.
What are the normal shipping times?
I think within Norway it's like 2 to 3 days, and around the world like up to 7 days, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Depending a little bit on the country and customs, but normally around a week for the rest of the world, and sometimes up to 2 weeks. But we flush our bags with nitrogen, so they can easily survive a couple of weeks in transit.
Yeah.
All right, if you like these videos, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we also have videos from the farm. We made a video last year from the Caballero's farm, where I visited, where you can also see Moises's variety museum and so on. So, yeah, really hope you like the coffee, and thanks for watching.
Ciao.
Ciao.
All right, one take.
Always one take. We'll have to cut out the carpenter.
Yeah, I'll just hide it.
Vi filmer vi, så gidder du å bare sette på utsida. Takk. Right.
And we're back.
That was our carpenter. Yeah.